River Oaks where he would do, so that's still, I mean, that's maybe not still the ideal way to do it. The ideal way to do it to me is if he's done all the work and you've done all the inspections, he gets a CO, and then that, to me, that CO would be good for, like I said, 30 or 60. The handyman stuff's not going to come into effect.
Yeah, but when you go to closing, they're going to ask for a CO from the city.
Right.
And if you don't have an approved CO from the city, they're more likely not going to approve that loan.
But why? So you're saying his initial that CO that he did when he built the house isn't going to be accepted?
That's what I'm saying. He's waiting until he goes to closing. Like if it sits on the market for 3 months,
Yeah.
he doesn't do that CO for that 3 months.
He waits till somebody says they're gonna put the money down.
The new buyer comes in and goes, hey, I want to buy this house. Well, when he does that, then he does the CO and then goes to closing.
Everything's up.
And then all they get pretty much is the walkthrough when they come back through on the new owner.
So the more common scenario, though, is when we were talking about rent houses, and I think most landlords don't have it in their name. So a renter moves out, right, and it's been in their name. So the power's off. Then the landlord needs to come in and repaint or put new carpet in or whatever. So then they get a CO and put it up for rent, and then probably less than a month, then a renter comes in, and then there's another CO for that. So that's more common.
That's not what's happening.
Okay, what's happening?
What's happening is if a owner comes in to get a CO for repairs,
Mm-hmm.
that owner is taking responsibility for that CO. When that tenant comes in 30 days later, they're doing a lights-on inspection. They're not doing a full
They're not doing
CO.
the full one, the full inspection.
And the only reason why they're doing a lights-on inspection is because that owner is taking the utilities out of his name or her name and putting it in the tenant's name. And at the point where he does that, then it requires another inspection.
See, like I'm having to get
So that's
someone on to work on.
Not a CO, not 2 COs. 1 CO, 1 lights on.
Because the temporary power is like 14 days, isn't it, or something?
30.
Short? 30, okay. Which may
Well,
not.
when I call in a release, it's 30 days.
30 days.
All right, well, before we,
Yeah, we got
recess for a minute, let's double back. So I think everybody's heard where I am on the letters going out. What are everybody's feelings on that?
Question whether 90 days is still, having too many friends have gone through this, and their paperwork for getting these death things solved. I mean, one of them should have been so simple. It was, he's married to the gal, everything's in both names, but they got it, they purchased it all from her dad, and when he died, it just was, I mean, he went over nearly a year just trying to get rid of the car and the land part, transferring. I could just see where 90 days is.
Well, we do have a provision that we can extend it 180 days,
I would almost,
but they
I don't know,
come in,
180 's a little
say they
low.
come in within the 90 days, and they say, look, it's tied up in probate.
Yeah.
I do have the authority to.
Well, I talking about probate, he never even got to that, he never got that bad.
Yeah, but I think to get a death certificate, it's not tight. You think it's taking that long to get a death certificate?
There were so much things that I don't know.
Because that's really what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's all we're looking
But
for.
the party who's going through this is dealing with everything.
Well, you got to think of the scenario of most times, I think a death is not a planned activity. And if you've got relatives that are from out of town, out of state, all of a sudden, so you're going to have to deal with a home, possibly fix it up, get ready to do whatever that is. That could be a real big burden to all of a sudden now, without any notice, I'm here in California, I got to come to River Oaks, get mom's house fixed back up so that the water can be turned on because I got to have a certificate of occupancy. The house is empty. I'm needing to go back home, take care of things, come back here in a month or two or whatever. There's some burden.
I would just like some padding put on 90 days to the 180 for staff, like that. Hey, they're doing this, that it should happen.
And that's going to
Well,
be
they're documenting it.
friendly
They're
reminder.
the process. Probate court considerable amount of time now, I tell you.
And again, my comments here, I'm for the citizen. You know, I mean, my vote will always be for the citizen as far as.
Sound like you're running for office?
Don't take my comments as a
No,
blockade here. You know, I think we need to be friendly to the people. I just have the far side where I see the worst of the worst. And I'm just presenting that picture. I'm not saying, hey, let's do this as from the police department.
And I don't think
Safety
anybody,
issue.
that's the last impression I've ever had from our police department, so I don't think anybody.
The problem is that it's just you know, it's just a bad thing and nobody likes it and it makes us, I think, gun shy on some of this kind of stuff. But I would propose that the letter be done, but that it not be sent immediately, that there be a time period, and that we can debate that. If it's, I would think a minimum of 30 days, maybe even 45 days.
Well, that's
To send the letter.
Yeah,
And then the letter would have some period of days in it that says, because then I think, you know, the freshness of the death is worn off and people are back sort of trying to take care of business. And then the nice thing about the letter is that it tells them specifically what they need to do. You know, if it hadn't already been done, it outlines what they need to do to sort of fix the problem. And I think we can tweak it. I would suggest give Marva some suggestions to soften the first few minutes.
What starts that clock?
Just being, however they become aware of it. I don't,
Because if we're going back to old school, which was the obituaries, they don't do that anymore. Obituaries cost about $400 to $500
yeah, there's.
to get your picture and who you were while you were alive. And
Pictures of 1500, and that was 10 years ago.
We're constantly trying to do that for ourselves because cremations in the cemetery business are skyrocketing. And a lot of people will send their loved ones for the cremation, and then at some time in the future, they bury it. So during that whole event, you have no way of knowing when somebody died unless they're just tripped up. So I just want to give you all that much knowledge on it, and it's only going to get worse from where it is today, and it's a big problem because those of us that are at a certain age, we understand the obituaries. Banks use, they had an employee that would sit there and read those obituaries every day. Dallas Morning News, Fort Worth Star Telegram, all that. They can't do that anymore. So keep that in mind when you're talking about the clock, because you're seeing less and less of the Star Telegram.
I think what we're talking about is just when we become aware of it.
Yeah, just when we become aware.
We're not gonna go out there and line and die and try to
Right,
find it.
but that may be 6 months away, or a year in some cases.
But a lot of people come in and pay the water bill and they converse with the ladies and they tell, oh, my husband just died or my wife just died or whatever the situation is. A lot of them though is, if it was in the husband's name or the wife's name, either one, whichever name it was in, and that person dies, the way it's reading now, as I understand, the wife, say, can't do anything to that account, because that account's not in her name. I suggest husband and wife put those things in dual name. I did it for our household. But if I was out of town and she wanted to come up here and make some change to it, I couldn't do it.
But don't we already have that
Yeah, we
in
already
there?
have that.
Yeah, that's,
But I think too, and I think that's a good idea, Steve, because, the thing that initially brought this to my, awareness 3 years ago, when we talked about it then, was, P.A. Foster died. And P.A. Foster died. I sent Marvin an email just saying, hey, let people know, you know, P.A., he's a World War II veteran, he lived here for 60 years. Just let people know P.A. Foster passed away. That email going out from the city, at that point, administrator, was then immediately used by staff to say, well, we have to send out a letter now because we're aware that this person's dead. And so, at least what Steve is saying, and I get that we can't tell people, if we're gonna send the letters out, I get that we can't tell them to embargo certain information because it came from